Hi, this is Colette from Soul Life Loving. I just wanted to have a little talk about what it really means to be a non-religious humanist. Anyway, when I was a little girl, 7-ish, well, to begin with, my dad's Catholic, divorced, my mum's Methodist, and we were Christian Church of England, me and my brother. So that we had the Methodist Church, the Catholic Church, and the Church of England one, and they would all come around regularly to see my dad to, you know, try and sign us up for their club. And my dad was like, no, because they wouldn't recognise my mum as his wife. Therefore, she's not the mother of her own children. God, they're dim. And so I decided that I had a penny. I went to Sunday school at the Methodist one because it was just around the corner. And that was all right. I think we have Presbyterians somewhere in the deep and distant past. But I thought, yeah, I'll go around there. Modern building, heating. Not a very stand-up piano organ thing. But the Sunday school was great. We got trips out. Got to see nice things. Got a sandwich lunch and a drink. And it was lovely. I really enjoyed it. I liked the parables. And that was fine. But as I got a bit older, like when I was 9, I decided that I was going to go right down the road and see what St Michael's had to offer. Because after Sunday school, you would go into the main service at the Methodist, and the preacher there, boring as fuck, droned on, tried to instill, you know, a bit of thumping the podium kind of stuff to rabble rouse his congregation. Only the person playing the organ thing started the hymns off, and we just followed the lead, all in minor keys, droned on. So I thought, I'll go down to St Michael's and try them. I'm allowed. We were christened there, so Potter's off down there. Loved the vicar, great humorist. Always had something for the kids that was funny and humorous, and we were included, whereas in the Methodist one we were not. We were meant to sit there and keep quiet and just sing along if we could read. But he wasn't. He involved everybody, and you know, you could talk back to him and ask him things, and you could join in and you say, does that mean that? And he would explain it. And I like that interaction. Church always smelled of cat piss, no heating, massive building, freezing cold, not many nice windows to look at. So it was off my tick list for winter because I'm poor circulation and I couldn't get warm. Across the road is St Albans Catholic Church. Fantastic stained glass windows. Oh, the pleasure my little artist soul had sitting in there and watching where the light went, and the colours and everything. It was wonderful, and it had a full organ, all the pipes and everything, and the guy that played it could play it. I didn't realise he was as good as he was until I heard mediocre ones, and then I realised, God, that guy was good. Praised God, he was quite elderly. He mumbled. Sometimes the other one had to come in and read some of it, and it was a monotone monologue, and God, it was awful. It was so boring. And that church, I don't know if you've ever smelt cat litter after a cat's one and two in it, but it smelt like that, and it was bloody freezing all through winter. But I went because I loved the glass and I loved the organ player. because he would generate that thunder and that vibration, mainly to wake the parishioners up, and he would do all that, and it was fantastic. And I would put my penny in the pot, and then one day, because I used to rotate them, one day when I was coming out, the priest stopped me and he said, you have to get your father to sign for you to come here, and to say that you will only come here. And I, in my little innocence, said, but I've paid my penny. And he said, he actually said, this is not about the money. I was like, in hindsight, it's made me laugh ever since. I know. But there you go. And I said, well, he won't do. And he said, yes, but you're attending other churches. And I went, well, I was christened at St Michael's because I was an honest little soul. And I like the Methodist church because it's warm in winter. And I do my Sunday school there. And we have trips. And I like St Michael's because the vicar's really lovely. And I like the vicar, he makes me laugh. Can't talk about jokes and fun, really, you can't. That was classed as shallow. It didn't matter that I was supposedly a child of God, and therefore I was allowed to enjoy the gifts that these people had made for me. Like the windows, somebody had to learn that trade to do that. The organ, somebody dreamt that up and made it and added to it and made it better. And that guy, hours he must have spent to be that good. Hours and hours and hours. And why shouldn't I enjoy that? No. Anyway, well, that's off the list. So I went to St Michael's the next week. Same thing happened, similar thing. I'm really sorry, Colette, but unless you actually commit to just coming here, I think I've been seen coming out of St Albans because it was only down the road, and you know, you have to commit to here. And I said, well, I've got my penny, and I like you, but it's cold in winter, and they've got a good organ, and they've got some lovely windows. Why isn't that a good enough thing for a child to say? Why is that not real? Because these things were created by really earnest, artistic and extremely clever people. No. So I thought, oh, well, it's just a Methodist then. I'll just have to go to the Methodist. No. It turns out that if I don't commit to them, I can't go to Sunday school there, and I can't continue with the Brownies. Plus, I have to attend every single Sunday. And so I'd said the same things. I can't do that. These are my reasons. So I told them the same thing. Well, then you can't come here. So then it had all been cut off. And so I then realised that these people had nothing to do with this entity called God, because what they said and what they did was completely separate, and I could see it really clearly. That is them and this is this. And I knew that the essence of that was the same essence that my guide gave me. So I knew that the spirit of it was real, because I came with my guide, and we talked all the time telepathically. You know, he was my guide, and that the church and those people in it, they were not part of this spirit. And it was so clear to me at 9 that when I cut them off, I missed the things that I loved, but I didn't miss them and the way that they treat people, and how they read the books and what they came up with, their version of it. And I could see it was, you know, if they were coming up with those nasty things and those mean things and those narrow things that hurt people, then that book can't be a very good book. So we're done. I still actually like the parables, I do. You know, there's nothing wrong with the 10 Commandments, but they can keep the rest. I'm not interested. And so that stopped it for me. And I realised it's just me and spirit now. It's me and my guide and this side of it. And because I was a child, I accepted that side of spirit that had come for a reason, and that the reason will be revealed as I needed it. And they would always be with me. And that was fine by me. Human beings, on the other hand, were a weird bunch. And they did and said and behaved weirdly at times, and they made no logical sense to my mind when they did those things, and I could see the duality of what they said and how they were, and so I dropped them all. And now 2 of those churches are demolished from lack of interest. One of them is like a community centre thing, but it's for the community. It's not actually to do with the religious side of it. It's the community side of it that's outstanding now. And from one day, the local church around me, which hosts afternoons with different instrument players and singers and everything. You can pay a donation, usually a £5, and go in and listen to somebody, and it's really lovely. They've got a cafe in there now. They do all sorts of help, and there's all sorts of community projects going on. And on the front, smack centre, before you go in, it says everyone is welcome. It's like how the times have changed. So all the superfluous stuff has been swept aside, along with their tenets and pedanticisms. And what's left has been the community centres. They're used for communities now, where people who are not bothered about that can actually go, and it's a hub. And that's what I've always thought they should be. They should be a hub. So anything that's not needed is gone. There's another one somewhere near me. Well, there's 3 actually. One of them is now at a medical centre with lots of doctors in. And the other one is another community centre that teaches all sorts of things, you know, knitting and art classes, and it has a play group in there for young children, and it's not a preachy kind of thing. It's for the people, and it's at prices that people can afford. So they've still got this community sense that was missing before, and for that reason it makes me really happy. It makes me really happy that there's signs on the doors there that say everyone is welcome, because that's how they should be. Anyway, thank you for listening.